way of all these New World Order style changes, fighting each other, just as they've been doing, obviously, in...
Sure, it's divide and conquer.
Sri Lanka, you know.
Sure, it's divide and conquer, just like right now they want it to be liberal Democrats and conservative Republicans fighting with each other over left-right, when left-right are all unified at the top to bring in the New World Order. But I didn't mean to have you digress there. I just wanted to go into some of that because wasn't Redinger like a Jesuit or something?
Well, he was a I don't know about him being a Jesuit, but he certainly was a Freemason. And this is one of the interesting things that's come out. I mean, we've got quite a good Polish community here in Bristol, and I was chatting to some Polish people, and they were going, right, yeah, this guy Redinger is big news, even though he died such a long time ago. You know, in Poland there are people writing books now about him and about how this interesting Polish-born guy who was working for MI6 during the Second World War, looking after the Polish leader in exile. How he was, there would be people picking apart his life as he was growing up in Poland and things like this. But, of course, this stuff is all only in Polish, yeah. So one of the things I'm working on at the moment is trying to get some of this stuff out into the English language.
All right, stay there. Bilderberg.org. We're going to have to hold you longer than 30, 40 minutes because I'm really getting intrigued. Let's get into what we know about Bilderberg, how it was founded, what its goals are. These Army reports that are confirmed about the Nazi money going into it, that merger of the Anglo-American establishment with the old European elite, with Germany at the center. Certainly Germany is the heart of the EU. That can't be debated. And so we'll break all that down and then get any latest intel you've got from England, because I know you always get a lot of inside info that's turned out to be pretty accurate at Bilderberg.org. Tony Gosling is our guest. Your call's coming up, and I'll break down this sickening New York Times attack on myself and others. Stay with us. You know, I saw this Austin American-Statesman story online, front page of Metro and State, strip search of 8-year-old girl that we've been exposing. But then it's a different version. I guess they went to print later than the internet story they put out. They admit the police contradicted themselves with the school administration, because the school administration admitted they took her pants off, and they admitted that to us, and the CPS admitted it, and then now they're denying it, saying nobody did. I mean, you guys just, it's not good to lie continually. I mean, come on. We're not the ones lying. You're the ones lying. Like, they've now had to admit, I didn't give out their 911 number. I gave out the administrative county numbers. So they've been caught in that lie as well. But look, just keep lying. Everybody knows who the liars are. You, not us. Does that mean we're perfect? No, we make mistakes, but you guys are known that when your lips are moving, you're lying. Going back to Tony Gosling of Bilderberg.org, we can also learn more about the Bilderberg in my film, The End Game, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. Okay, in a nutshell, the founding of Bilderberg from the documents themselves, and then the latest info, any intel you've gotten from this year's meeting, what's on the agenda from 2009?
The list this year, Alex, is the Bilderberg press release. Have you?
Yes.
You've seen all that then, yeah?
Well, we got their press release, and we put it up. Yeah. Okay,
brilliant. Because there were a couple of issues of the press release, some in different languages, but they were talking this time, well, at least they say they were talking about the financial crisis, governments and markets, role of institutions, market economies and democracy, Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan, US and the world, cyber terrorism, which I guess is their fear of the truth coming out on the internet, manifesting as something called cyber terrorism, new imperialisms, protectionism, post-Kyoto challenges. Now, I don't know about you, but that's the longest list of subjects I've ever seen on one of these Bilderberg press releases. And, of course, the Bilderberg-style answer to all this is all these international problems need to be dealt with together by a giant global governmental type system. I mean, that's where they're pushing. But it seems every time there's some kind of crisis, and this is why they're so into these created crises, is they're trying to pull it in and say, it's okay, we've got a plan to deal with it. A little bit like when they appeared at the beginning of the Second World War. They were sort of jumping in there saying, it's okay, we'll deal with it. So they're spending a lot of money, a lot of time and effort trying to think ahead of the game and playing a long game. As I think we need to do too. So the originals, when we were talking a little bit earlier about the U-boat incident, do you actually know about that? Where the Hitler's escape boat? Do you know about that one?
Yes, I had read briefly about it in a few history books, but you had more details, so tell us about it.
Well, that's right. I mean, I actually came over to the States, I think it was in 1999, to check this one out, Alex, because it seems so intriguing. I was having chats on the phone and getting emails from a guy called Ed Michaud I think it's in Concord, Massachusetts he's based, but he was doing diving off of Cape Cod, and he's someone that kind of does research in libraries, museums and that kind of thing into wrecks. And he discovered this wreck, this U-boat, which had sunk off Cape Cod on the 25th of August, 1944. It was a very special, very peculiar type of U-boat. Only one of its kind was ever built. It's called a Type X-1B. You won't find it in any of the books that there are published about submarines, but he's managed to get the plans for it, all sorts of stuff. But it was only one ever built, and it was in port in Danzig, sitting there, waiting for any reason that Hitler or the high command of the German military might need to escape. It was sitting there ready. And the other thing with this U-boat, it was enormous. It also had a gigantic great hold. So it wasn't your normal U-boat. It wasn't a fighting U-boat. It was able to transport vast amounts of goods. And Ed had done his research, and one of the reasons he was interested in this wreck, which is now apparently still lying off Cape Cod in quite difficult diving waters, unfortunately, but it's lying there with a whole cargo load of gold on board. Because what Ed believed was that towards the end of the war, the Nazis started shipping their gold into the U-boat so that Hitler could escape with the gold across the Atlantic or wherever he wanted to go underwater.
Well, we know a lot of it went to Central and South America. That's on record, that massive amounts of gold, diamonds, artwork, and Nazis went to Argentina, you name it.
And I don't think a submarine would be the best way of transporting gold around the world, but I think it certainly makes it an intriguing prospect.
Well, see, the Germans had the big milk cows, is what they called them, large troop-carrying, cargo-carrying subs. And we know milk cows went to South America, carrying all the goodies. Stay there, Tony Gosling. Let's fast forward when we get back to